And more recently, I got involved with a local independent wrestling promotion. And so not only do I do the commentary with, with some other people, I have a broadcast partner, Frankie Cappuccino, but I also do the camera work. I also do the videography. So I do the camera work, and I do the editing of the matches, and I take the camera angles that I take of the live matches, and I edit them together. And I find it's really fun. It's really kind of it's an interesting hobby. I make a little bit of money at it. It's an independent wrestling promotion, so it's not some big giant money making freaking organization. It's a small time thing, and the wrestlers are all very dedicated to their craft. And I take inspiration from watching these young wrestlers who want to go out and really give a good performance for an audience, and want to get people fired up and want to learn how to do all of this stuff. And so when I'm editing their matches, I take it really seriously, and I really want to make it look good, and give it that professional polish. Maybe it'll never get onto anything but YouTube. So that's another thing, if you ever want to hear some of my commentary, Monster Pro Wrestling. We've got a YouTube channel, also MPW, right? That's MPW, Monster Pro Wrestling. So yeah, I do the video editing, and I get some on camera time as well as I get to shoot promos with the wrestlers, and I have a great time. I get to live out some of my boyhood dream. I grew up watching wrestling and watching, particularly here in Alberta, it was Stampede Wrestling. So Ed Whalen was the commentator, and he always interviewed the wrestlers between matches, and he had, he was a real strong personality, and it really made it entertaining. And then I think around 1979, 1980, I got introduced through cable television to Georgia Championship Wrestling on TBS, and I got to see a whole different world of professional wrestling with these other wrestlers, and a whole different commentator and host, and it was like, oh my God, and so I get to pretend that I'm those people that I was watching as a kid, and it's a lot of fun. It's great fun, and I it's another one of these things that my grandiosity says, oh, I'll be a star, and someday, the big time wrestling promotions will see me, and the chances are no. But that's okay. I treat it like it's big time because, again, that's what I was taught to do as an actor, right? Like when I took acting classes when I was, they taught you dial things up, man. If you commit, and if you don't commit, guess what? It's not going to come off as realistic. It's not going to come. People aren't going to be. Your audience isn't going to be committed to it, and that's kind of how that goes. So this YouTube and doing this. I don't even know what to call this. It's not really a blog. It's not really It's me vamping or whatever. That's kind of where this comes from. Is that this need that I have to express myself, but then this kind of wanting to tell some stories, right? And that's the other thing that wrestling is really good for, is that wrestling is great for these stories, right? There's so much story in it, and that's what appeals to me, and that's why I'm doing this YouTube videography too. At the coaching, at the insistence of my sons who are very influential in my life.